Today's practice is going to focus on the idea of groundedness. And we talk a lot about this in yoga, and it's probably a concept that's kind of familiar to all of us, particularly during these challenging times when our minds are spinning off in lots of different directions, and it's kind of hard to stay focused. So as always with our practice, we use the body to connect with the mind, and we use the breath. So groundedness, we're of course always talking about the effects of gravity, which is pulling us closer towards the earth. And when we move, we have to move from that place of groundedness, so we still feel balanced when we step out. So we'll be working with that, and I like to say that with groundedness, it's important to know and to feel where we are in any particular moment. Because if you don't know where you are, it's hard to know where you're going. So let's begin our practice. And I'm going to take my antlers off for this. When we talk about asana practice in yoga, the word asana means to take a seat. And actually, centuries ago, when yoga started, all of the postures, all of the movements were seated movements. And they were designed for only one reason, which is to get the body ready to meditate. So we've expanded that practice, but today, whether we're seated or whether we're standing, to get the sense of moving from a center, moving from a grounded place to the next place. So let's begin by centering, and if you'd like to use a mudra during your centering, remember you can use the chin mudra, the Om mudra, which is connecting the thumb and the index finger. Palms can be down or palms can be up. Or you could use the chalice mudra, which is letting the palms rest on your lower abdomen, one hand cradling the other, and the thumbs connecting. So if that feels comfortable for you to form that mudra, please do that as we center. Feeling your body in the chair and beginning to connect with your breath. Feeling the breath coming in, and then feeling it go out. And let's even accentuate the sound of the exhale. So as we breathe in, and then letting it go with a sigh. Breathing in, sighing it out. Notice how your body responds to that sound by sinking more deeply into a relaxed and present state. As we watch the breath come in and out, feeling your body fully from the all the way up to the top of your head. Notice how the breath feels in a seated position. And can you create a little more space for the breath? Maybe by expanding your belly or relaxing your shoulders. Where can you create space? You can allow the breath to get a little deeper now, moving into the three-part breath, softening and expanding the belly, drawing the breath up through the chest all the way to your shoulders, and then exhaling, letting the exhale pour from your body, shoulders, chest, and belly. If your thoughts pull you away from the moment, Gently come back to your breath. Just a few more complete breaths here. And the next time you exhale, release that technique and just allow your natural breath to come back. Take a moment to notice how you feel. And we'll bring our centering to close by bringing hands to prayer position, which is also Anjali Mudra, and joining our voices in an Om. Deep breath. Om. Om. Shanti. Peace. May we all know peace. And may our practice bring us peace. So opening your eyes, if they're not already open, beginning some sun breaths, breathing in and exhaling, allowing the chin to drop towards the chest. Breathing in and letting it go. So even though our focus is really on the upper body, because that's the part that's moving, stay connected with the parts of you that are grounded. Your feet on the floor, your buttocks in the chair. Just feel the whole body as you breathe. And the next time the arms come overhead, we're going to pause in seated mountain, allowing the fingertips to lift, drawing the shoulder blades down your back if they've inched up towards your ears, pressing into your feet, feeling the breath, connecting with sensation. So I'm going to lower my right arm now and begin to sweep the left from side to side. So it's an exhale that brings the arm across and an inhale that floats it down. Bending directly to the side. Nice, easy rhythm. Sweeping and releasing. So when you reach across this time, just put a little pause in the movement, grounding through both sit bones, feeling equal pressure on the chair. Reach across. I'm letting my left hand hang down because I feel that gives me a deeper stretch in the side body. Great. Inhale, bringing that arm up, and then we're going to cradle that elbow with the right palm, drawing the elbows and the shoulders back, sitting up nice and tall, one breath at a time. So holding that arm press, let's gently rotate to the right. Bring it back to center and rotate to the left. And back to center. And one more time each from side to side. A little different variation on how the stretch feels. Take a breath in and release your arms. Always pausing to notice how you feel. And we'll do all of that for the other side. So I'm going to do a few more sun breaths, beginning at the beginning. They always talk in yoga about having the beginner's mind. So as many times as you've done this movement, let it be new and fresh and interesting. Moving into seated mountain, fingertips stay lifted, shoulders relax. And we'll begin to reach on this side. So the left arm floats down and the right begins to sweep from side to side. And always a good suggestion to sigh out the breath, make a sound with the exhale. That will certainly help ground you and keep you connected with your breath. So let's reach across and hold to this side, pressing the fingertips out. My left hand is floated down. Nice deep stretch. One more breath in, and then we'll bend that right elbow, cradle it with the left palm. Take a moment to grow tall in your seat. And let's gently rotate to the left. Breathe it back to center, to the right, back to center, and one more time from side to side. So we're keeping the lower body quiet right now, just moving the upper body. And then release, allow the arms to float down, and notice how you feel. Let's work on the lower body a little bit. I'm going to pick up my right foot and leg, and I'm going to cradle the foot in my palm and my knee in the other palm. I'm just going to rock the leg from side to side. One really good way to prevent stiffness in the joints is to do repetitive movements. It gets that natural shock absorber, the synovial fluid, moving in the joint space. Good. And then I'm just going to stretch that leg out in front. You can hold on behind, or you can use your yoga tie, or you can challenge yourself a little bit by letting the leg stay extended on its own. Making sure you're sitting up nice and tall, not leaning back. Great. So we'll bend the knee now and draw it right up to the chest, shoulders relaxed. Sit up tall. I'm going to circle my ankle here. Nice, easy circles. Let's go the other way. Maybe draw that leg up a little bit further. Always looking for those opportunities, for those spaces to dive deeper. Let's transition to the figure 4 stretch. So you may cross at the ankles, cross the knees, or place that foot up on top of your left thigh. Sitting up tall, I'm going to press down on the knee, pull up on the foot, and I'm going to add a little more intensity by leaning into it. Let the exhale continue to ground you. Taking in one more breath here. Great. Inhale, come on up. And keeping the legs right where they are, wherever they're crossed, we're going to come into a twist from side to side. So I'm going to bring my left palm to my right knee, right hand to the chair. Sitting up tall. Good. Bring it back to center on an inhale and rotate to the other side. And then guide it back to center. Uncross and take a breath. And we'll do all of that on the other side. So it's the left foot and leg that come up here, holding on wherever is comfortable for you as we rock. So I know some of you are really flexible. So if you want, you can always advance this and cradle in the crook of the elbows, but that's not necessary. It's just a suggestion. I'm just going to rock this way. Good. And now let's stretch that leg out. Let the muscle work a little bit. I'm going to release my hands, but you can continue to hold on. That's perfectly fine. So the taller you sit, the more your abdominal muscles will work here. Great. So I'm going to bend that knee and draw it up and circle that ankle. And we always pay attention to what's the difference between the two sides. Sometimes it's pretty significant. Drawing that knee up a little higher. Great. And we'll move into the figure 4 stretch. So at whatever level is comfortable and appropriate for you, making sure both of your sit bones are nice and square on the chair. Downward pressure on the knee, guiding the foot upward and leaning into it if you want a deeper stretch. One more breath in and out. And the next inhale brings your torso up. And we'll move into the twist from this position. So beginning to turn to the left. And to the other side. And let's guide it back to center and uncross. Take a moment to take a breath, maybe 2. We're going to move into our seated forward fold. And remember, we do this in stages, so you can get whatever level of stretch is most comfortable and appropriate for you. I'm going to begin with my feet directly under my knees. And we're going to do this with the wave breath. So it's reaching the torso forward and then rounding and pulling back. So it's very similar to the 6 movements of the spine in the cat and the dog. Exhaling as you come forward. Inhaling as you draw back. So thinking about expanding the chest as you come forward and rounding your spine as you go back. A couple more times here. And we're going to be moving this stretch a little bit higher up into the hamstrings, but you can stop wherever is appropriate. I'm going to move my feet forward, about 6 or 9 inches and continue to wave. Exhale, rolling the chest forward and bringing the spine back. Another one of those nice repetitive movements that feels so good. So I'm going to extend my feet all the way. Now, if you're doing this, just be careful you don't slide off your chair. You can actually hold on to the side or to the legs as you do this. And then when I come forward, I'm going to pause and allow the stretch to sink in. Feeling this all the way up the hamstrings. Those muscles that get so tight. One more breath here. Let it go. And then inhale and bring your torso back up again. And let's return the feet to directly under the knees. Take a breath. Coming into seated yoga mudra. Remember we talked about mudras last week. Well, yoga mudra translates to the symbol of yoga because in it, the heart is superior to the head, which reminds us always to stay focused on what the heart tells us, and not to get pulled off center, to get ungrounded by those worrisome thoughts. So take a moment to extend your arms long from the shoulders. Deep breath in. Now sweep the arms around behind you. Interlace your fingers, squeeze your palms together, open the chest, and then exhale, come forward. You can keep the hands at the waist in the back, or you can allow them to move away if you have the flexibility to do that. One more breath. Keeping that squeeze in the shoulders. Come all the way up. One more big squeeze. Good. Then release the arms. Let them float forward and come to rest on your thighs. Close your eyes. Take a breath. So we're going to work on, excuse me, warrior pose. We're going to do it seated, and we're also going to do it standing with a couple of variations. So what I'd like you to bring your awareness to is, where is the grounding when you're seated? Where is the grounding when you're standing? And how does the breath feel, and how does the breath help? So we'll start seated. I'm going to turn to the left, hands at my hips, sitting up nice and tall. Take a breath in and send the right foot back. Good. Press back through the heel and then let it go. Pressing back through the heel. Let it go. And this time when you press back, hold the press. Also press into the sole of your left foot in the front. Find your grounding. And if you like, add your arms. Your gaze can be up, it can be at the horizon, or it can be down at the floor. Good, breathe in. Exhale, lowering your arms. Allow the feet to stay right where they are. So we're going to move into warrior two. The left arm sweeps up in front. The right arm comes behind. So moving outward from your center, from your groundedness, extend the arms in opposite directions and breathe. Can you still feel your feet? Good. Breathe in and exhale, lower the arms. So to move into triangle, we'll rotate to the front. And I'm going to stretch up with my right arm. Left arm comes to the inside of the leg. And I bend directly to the side. So feel the soles of both feet. Is there the same amount of pressure? What's happening with your breath? Inhale, reach that arm up. Bring it down. Walk the feet together. And just very briefly pause here for a couple of breaths. And we'll go to the other side. So facing the right corner. Setting up for warrior, making sure the spine is nice and straight. Deep breath in and step back with the left foot. Let's press the heel back and let it relax. Press it down towards the floor and ease it up. Pressing back this time, we'll hold. Add the arms if that feels right. And adjust your gaze. wherever feels most grounded for you. Breathe in, exhale, lower your hands, and get ready for warrior two. So the right arm comes to the front, the left arm goes back, and we stretch in opposite directions. Gaze is to the right. Wonderful. Deep breath in. Exhale, lower the hands. Good. Turn and face the front. We'll get ready for triangle on this side. So left arm reaches up, right arm comes to the inside of the right leg, and over we go. Feel all the way from the soles of your feet out through the tip of the fingers of the arm that's extended. Pay attention to every part. Good. Inhale, stretch it up. Exhale, lower down. Walk your feet together and take a breath. So we're going to move up to standing now to do some of those poses in a standing position. And as you do that, just notice how perhaps the breath is going to change, to notice how the movement will change based on whether you're seated or standing. And notice the transition. How do you move from seated to standing? And it's entirely up to you. We always have to notice the transitions. Good. I'm going to come to the left side of my chair. And I'm going to shift my weight to the leg closest to the chair and begin to lift the left foot. Now remember, we did this knee press seated. Feels very different when we're standing, right? We could circle the ankle again. What's happening with your breath? The minute you start to balance, a lot of times we hold the breath. So try to remind yourself just to let the breath move naturally. Okay. So we're going to step back into warrior. So taking that left foot, bringing it back, squaring the hips to the front of the room, releasing one hand from the chair if you don't need it for balance, adding the arms. Feel your feet. Feel that exhaled breath. Let's transition to warrior two. So left arm comes behind, right arm comes forward. Again, feel your feet. Can you feel the same pressure on the forward foot and the back foot? What do you feel? Good. Breathe in one more time. Lower. Good. So we're going to take that left foot, step it out to the side. We're getting set up for Trikonasana or triangle. And I'm going to turn my right foot so the toes face the chair and turn my left foot in just a little bit. Let's reach up with the left arm. Begin to reach to the side. So we're going directly to the side. Unlock your knees. Release your hand from the chair if you don't need it for balance. And breathe. Good. Inhale, reach it up. Let's drop into a counter stretch here. So I'm going to bring my left hand down. Reach up with the right. Stretch. I'm looking up, but you can also look at the horizon or look down at the floor if that feels safer. Good. Inhale, exhale, lower down, and step the feet together. Take a breath. So usually when we're doing warrior pose, we're stepping back into the pose. So we're going to do a little experiment just so you can notice how you can switch things up to keep your practice fresh and interesting. So we're going to, instead of stepping back, we're going to step forward into warrior. So move a little bit back behind the back of your chair because you're going to be stepping forward. And if you need to keep a hand on the chair, you want that to be comfortable. Good. So what I like to do is begin with my feet like railroad tracks. If your feet are too close together and you try to step forward, it's almost like you're on a tightrope and it's hard to balance. So you want to have a little bit of space between the feet, ideally directly under your hips. Let your gaze rest on the floor at a point where you think your foot is going to connect with the floor. Take a breath in, and then we're going to send that left foot forward. Ha! Good. Let's step back. Going to try that again. I want you to let that sound out as you ground into the pose. Here we go. Breathe in. Send the foot forward. Ha! Good. Creating a little bit of bend in that forward knee. Sinking down. Feeling free to add one arm or both arms. Notice how that feels. What's happening with your breath? Great. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower the arms. Now to release the pose, just bring your right foot forward and take a breath. We're going to do all of that on the other side, but we're going to pause in between and just do a downward facing dog. So I'm going to walk my feet back. You can either hold on to the back of the chair, or as I like to do, I like to bring my hands to the seat of the chair because I like a little bit of a deeper stretch. Soften your knees. Remember, you can pedal your feet here. It feels really good. Good, and walk the feet back. So we're ready to do those movements on this side. I'm going to shift my weight to my left foot, begin to lift the right. And a few ankle circles here. So let's get ready for warrior pose. Stepping back first. We're going to take the right foot, bring it back, square your hips, sink down. So feeling free to add one or both arms, whatever is your preference. Is the breath changing? Try to let the breath be as smooth as you can. Transition to warrior two now. So left arm sweeps forward, right arm sweeps back. Reaching out in both directions, just like you did when you were seated. A little bit of bend in the forward knee. Sinking the hips down. Almost like there's a magnet pulling your center down right into the center of the earth. Great. One more breath in and exhale, lower the arms. And we're going to step that right foot forward and out to the side, getting ready for triangle. Left foot turns towards the chair, right foot turns in slightly. I'm going to reach up with my right arm, stretch and lengthen. I'm going to release my left arm and bring it inside the leg for a little bit of a deeper stretch, a little more challenge with balance. Find your feet. Find your breath. Great. Inhale. Bring it up. Do your counter stretch. Nice little back bend. Good. Lower the hands. Step the feet together and take a breath. So we're going to do warrior, stepping forward into warrior on this side. So I invite you to take a few steps back because you're going to be moving forward. Great. So here we go. Take a deep breath in. Visualize where your foot's going to go and send that foot forward with a ha. Good. Really sink down. Find your stance. Find your groundedness. Adding the arms if you like. Adding the breath. Flatten out the feet. Let's do a couple more breaths here. Great. And then to release, lower your arms, sink a little deeper into your bend, and just step the feet together. Take a breath. How about one more downward facing dog? Here we go. Hands at the back of the chair or the seat of the chair, whichever is your preference. Oh, just letting the belly hang down. I'm going to pedal my feet a little more because my hamstrings are really tight this morning. And on an in-breath, bring yourself back and take a seat. Let's breathe the arms up one more time. Interlace the fingers. Reach the fingers up to the sky. And exhale to the right. Breathe it up to center and exhale to the left. And up to center, separating your feet a little wider, hinging right at the hips, coming into a forward fold. When you're all the way down, release your hands, release your head, give it a shake. Sigh out the breath. And then re-engage your arms so they're on either side of your head. Engage your core. Come all the way up. Reach up tall one more time. And then release your hands down. Beautiful practice, everybody. So let's now take a few minutes to just sit with the breath. Again, you can use one of the mudras if that feels appropriate for you. Allowing your eyes to close. And now is the time when we observe the results of our practice. What is showing up for you in your thoughts, your energy, body? Do you feel more present? Can you stay with the breath just a little longer? And opening your eyes if they're closed, and just adding some final movements, some final stretches. Oh, letting out any sounds, grunts, groans, sighs, yawns. It's all welcome. Bringing hands to heart, joining our voices in an Om. Om Shanti, peace. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free from fear. And may all beings everywhere know peace. Namaste.